I was no more than 5 years old. I think I was 4. There was so much violence in my house and no protection. I remember telling myself, I am alone. I said, I don't need anybody. I will never need anybody.
Fallen Eve isn't the truest thing about you. She isn't the deepest thing. Underneath every controlling, striving, indulgent, desolate woman is a wounded little girl. Let me begin with Psalm 109. And this is David, by the way, who I think we can all agree was a pretty remarkable man. Help me, sovereign Lord. Out of the goodness of your love, deliver me, for I am poor and needy, and my heart is wounded within me. He had a story. Every woman has a story. It's a story of how her heart was handled and what she has come to believe about herself as a result. The wounds that we received growing up and all through our lives, they continue to shape us as a woman, the woman that we are today, more than we might realize or care to admit. But every woman has a story. Remember, you came into the world asking a question, and it went something like, do you see me? Do you delight in me? Am I captivating? How was that answered for you? Oh, I hope with 1,000 yeses. But none of us had perfect parents. None of us, you didn't. I didn't. My children don't. So all of us need to take a look back, remember, and receive more of the healing that God has for us here. See, every little girl needs to hear. Every woman needs to know, I see you. You matter. I delight in you. I love you. What's amazing is look at Jesus. He actually needed to hear it. Remember at his baptism when he went into the Jordan, he came out of the water, the dove descended on him, and his father just spoke. God kind of broke with protocol here. There's very few times in the scriptures where the Father just speaks in such a way that everyone can hear at once. He says, this is my beloved Son, in whom I am well pleased. He says, I am so proud of who you are. What has God so excited that he breaks with protocol and he speaks? Jesus. Jesus has him so excited. Now, if Jesus needed to hear from his Father that he was the beloved Son, how much more do we?
Boy, that's a good boy. That's a good boy. So I think I was maybe 6 on this picture, and it's my sister's birthday. This is me with my mom. This is my youngest sister, my oldest sister, and my dad. Like the first thing that my eye catches is the presence of my dad standing there.
Is this him?
That's him right there standing here.
You don't even see his face well. There's this looming presence around, bringing darkness into what otherwise would have been beautiful.
Yeah. Every afternoon, around 5 or 6 p.m., that was my dad's arrival from work. And I will get what I now think they were kind of panic attacks. And I will sit on a couch, a red couch, and just wait for him to open the door. I couldn't help my tears, and I just began crying. He hated when I cried. And crying makes me weak. And crying means punishment. And he tells me, if you keep crying, I'll keep hitting you. But I kept crying, and so he kept hitting me. And so I always tried, if I was hurt, if I was in pain or sad, I make sure I didn't cry, at least not in front of my father. He would tell me, "You're so stupid. You are so dumb. Look at you, you're good, you're worthless, you're good for nothing." And I believed him.
A little girl brings her heart's question, "Do you delight in me? Do you see me?" to her dad. Juanita's father did not answer her question in the way she so needed it to, but in a way that did massive harm. He terrified her into silence. He frightened her with fear. He took her voice away. Now, there are many wounds that come our way throughout our lives. They don't just come from our father. We get wounded by our mothers, our siblings, our relatives, our friends, our teachers, anyone who has access to our hearts. But because of the way that God made the universe, the father-child relationship is the deepest, is the most profound. For me, growing up, my very first memory was when I was 3 years old, sitting at the kitchen table, and I heard for the first time, but not the last, how crushed my mother was when she learned that she was pregnant with me. How grieved, how she wept. And I learned then for the first time, but not the last, that my very presence caused pain. I was the last child of 4 born too close together, and I was the final straw that broke her back. My father was a traveling salesman. This is back in the day when they would take their samples in their cars and take off. So he would be gone for 3 weeks and home for a weekend. Gone for 3 weeks, home for a weekend. My mother was married, but she was alone. She could not handle it. My father was also an alcoholic, but it was years before his bipolar disorder was recognized and he began to take the medication that so helped him. I loved it when he was the lively prankster. I so enjoyed it when he made jokes. I was terrified when he was raging. And I was mortified when he would ask for other women's phone numbers in my presence. So what did I do? I hid. I took to hiding like a duck takes to water, and I grew up to become a very angry woman. I became fearful and controlling, whereas Juanita became fearful and withdrawn.
I learned how to protect very well. And hiding worked. I was trying to protect myself. I hid from my father, of course. My presence wasn't welcome. Mistakes were not welcome. Emotions were not welcome. And so I just swallowed everything. And I hid hard. I hid my heart. And I was afraid as I was growing up that if people knew that I was dumb and stupid, that I'll be rejected. Failing meant that my father was right. And somehow in my heart, there will be punishment. And I lived a very safe life, not allowing people to come near me, or me allowing myself to be known. I don't know how to talk, how to express myself. I had no clue how to do that.
Did you know that your dad adored you? Did he tell you 1,000 million times how proud he was of you? I hate to say it, but you need to hear it. Every woman comes into this world and is wounded. Now, you may be more aware of current wounds that are going on: betrayal, divorce, abuse, loneliness. Mercy, dear ones. There are a variety of wounds that women take throughout their lifetimes. There are massive ones And there are seemingly small ones, but a massive blow to the heart is actually equal to 1,000,000 tiny arrows of pain hitting the same place. Maybe you were physically abandoned, and that is horrible. Maybe no one ever showed up to your school play or asked you what was happening with your schoolwork or wanted to know how you are. That feels the same as abandonment and rejection. Friends, it all matters. The way we are wounded has played a role in shaping us into the woman that we are today, in the ways that we control or strive, in the way we have to be perfect, or in the way that we refuse to speak up, the ways that we hide, and all our addictions, and there's such a myriad available to us. There's gambling or TV or shopping or food. They're not the point. They're the medication. The point is the wounded heart. And many women mishandle their woundedness. They'll minimize it. They'll say, oh, yeah, but what happened to her? Now that was bad. Me, nothing. Or some will even embrace it and say, well, that's who I am. I deserved that. And many will deny it. Not a wound. Get over it. What's past is past. Brennan Manning says that a wound that is denied is a wound that cannot be healed. Remember when Jesus first came on the scene? He's baptized, and then he went out into the desert for a showdown with Satan. He came back, and it was his first public moment. It was his time to announce who he was and why he came. He went into the synagogue, and he was handed the scroll of Isaiah. He unrolled it to Isaiah 61, and he read, "The sovereign Lord is upon me. He has anointed me to preach good news to the poor, to bind up the brokenhearted, and to proclaim freedom for the captives."
Everything changed when I met God. I ended up believing Him and asking Him, "Oh God, who do you say I am? What do you think of me?" God says, "I want to hear your voice." Me. And I believed Him. Yes. I did. God gave me a strength I didn't even know I had. I didn't know I carried.
Look, are you ready? Yeah! Okay, let's do this! Yay! Nuki! Good job! That was awesome!
I just couldn't live in fear anymore because I knew that I was missing out on so much. But when I began to risk, little by little, it was okay. I love that feeling when I get to love somebody and I see what my love can do to a person. It's such a gift, and to receive it. Because when I was young, I didn't allow people to love me, and I couldn't love other people. And so I don't even know what love looked like. And when I began to risk in allowing people to love me, allowing you to love me, it was so good that I wanted more.
The mission of God is all about restoration. What happens when Jesus shows up? Well, the miracles, they're just the illustrations for the sermon. The deaf hear, the lame walk, and the blind see. Jesus is the same yesterday, today, and tomorrow. He still has the power to heal. He still has the desire to come for you in the places where you so need him to. Christ came to restore your heart as a woman. Revelations 3 says, "Behold, I stand at the door and knock. If anyone open the door, I will come in and sup with him." Now, this is often referred to as a verse for people to receive Christ for the first time, but this is actually written to Christians. Jesus is saying, let me in. Let me into the places that need tending. He's knocking through the pain in our life. He's knocking through addictions, through sorrow, through loneliness, for the pressure that we feel, the stress at work or in our marriages. Let him in. We need our Father to come and to heal our feminine hearts, to tell us who we are and to restore us unto him. Love and the answer to your questions and the way you so need them to be answered. It's still available to you.
Okay, 2 times 3.
2 times 3 is 6.
Yeah.
5 times 3 equals 15.
Yeah. Okay. 3 times 10.
30.
Good job. Okay, this is a hard one.
10. 120.
Oh, you're 10.
Pretty easy.
Pretty easy. You know why?
Why?
Because you're smart and you're bright. Oh, buddy. A plus.
I want my kids to know that they're protected not only by God or their father, but by me as well. I fight to get the environment in my house. It's a safe place for my kids to be who they are. Yes.
Yes. So, no, and just relax. You feel all right?
It's awesome for me a lot.
I'm happy to be who I am. And I know there's more work that needs to be done, but what has been done already, it's a miracle. When you get a taste of true love, it's like, I see it like water to a dry plant. Before, it was just black and white. And I feel like I have color in my life.